Hi, Amber.
Hi, most of Megan.
Welcome to Bad Movies Rock.
Thank you, Megan. Megan, most of Megan, welcome to Bad Movies Rock, where your voice is slowly coming back, even though we took a 2-week hiatus. Wow, not much has changed. I mean, I guess if you listen to the 2 episodes back to back, maybe it seems like there's a vast improvement, but considering the actual time frame has been, what, 3 weeks?
Yeah, I think that's about right. Yep.
Wow. That's a commitment. That's a commitment to sickness.
Thank you, Amber. I feel like I've just really...
Okay, we're just going to trail off there and leave it on the floor. Okay, I like it.
I don't have anything.
I'm so tired. I'm just so tired.
I don't have anything. I'm just really, I feel like I've really, this is the new me, and I hope everybody likes it. And there we go.
Oh, this is forever.
It seems like it.
Okay. Well, let's embrace the pain, I guess. Megan.
Amber.
Since your voice has already decided it's the end of the world, let's watch a movie about the end of the world.
Yeah, let's do it.
How does this world end, Megan?
Oh, we did it. Oh, we already did that.
Yeah, no, we did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about watching a movie about the end of the world.
Well, Amber, when the polar ice caps melt, we get a Waterworld.
So this world ends in water.
Yes.
Excellent.
Or does it begin in water, Amber?
The 1995 classic.
Yay!
Waterworld.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I'm trying to say that there's another Waterworld, although...
There's a TV show. Maybe.
I just wanted to place it in time. This is back in the sweet mid-90s.
Yes.
When we already knew global warming was a thing, and we was fucked.
Yep. And it's only gotten better since we've learned the error of our ways.
The cautionary tale of Kevin Costner's... No... Still, we are still on this fucking bullet train heading towards Waterworld. Yeah. So let's take a glimpse at our future, shall we, Megan?
Yeah.
IMDb, Metacritic, Amazon, and Amber.
Yes, please.
Are gonna offer you a synopsis of this movie to see if we can entice you to watch it. Megan, it's time to play the game.
Yes,
which is
please.
which is which?
Yes, I love this which game.
Global warming has melted the polar ice caps, leaving most of the Earth underwater. A new island society has emerged, and the mutated hero Mariner believes he's found a map to the mythical dry land! Exclamation point.
Oh, and that's it?
That's it.
Okay.
A 2. In the future, the polar ice caps have melted, covering the Earth with water. The Mariner, Costner, a mysterious drifter, attempts to elude the savage, quote, smokers, and escort Helen, Triplehorn, and her daughter Enola, Majorino, to the legendary dryland. 3. Global warming has melted the polar ice caps, covering the Earth in a seemingly endless ocean. In this brutal new world, a mysterious drifter finds himself on the run from deadly smokers, with a woman and a young girl, whose tattoo may hold the key to finding the mythical dry land. Will they reach dry land before the drifter kills them both for annoying the shit out of him?
I somehow knew that was yours, even though you hadn't added your special
Megan!
flirt. Like, if you hadn't... Okay, sorry, go ahead.
You are jumping the gun.
I apologize.
The game is not over. You've not heard all the options. You don't know yet which is which, okay?
Yes, you're right.
Hold your applause to the end. In a future where the polar ice caps have melted and Earth is almost entirely submerged, a mutated mariner fights starvation, an outlaw, quote, smokers, and reluctantly helps a woman and a young girl to find dry land. Okay, fine, now you can fucking guess.
There was smokers in quotations again?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
3 times smokers in quotations.
Huh.
I know. Ooh. Interesting.
Okay, then. I think that the first one is Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is Metacritic. The third one is Amber. And the fourth one is IMDb.
Oh my God. That was perfect.
Did I do it?
You did do it.
Yes.
That was perfect. That was, pure luck, because there's no way you could really figure out which one was mine.
but it was a guess.
How did you know it was already mine before the end?
I don't know. I do know. It's because it was too good. It was too well done.
Nope. Don't even try that shit with me, okay?
Well, I mean, you were using the proper. You know what? You included the women in your summary, so I assumed that had to be you. Nobody else would do that shit.
You know, I actually frontlined the women too much the first time I wrote it. That's actually why I was late to showing up to record just now, because I was, oh shit, I mentioned the women too much. I need to pull them back and make the drifter more front and center.
Yep.
Otherwise it'll be too obvious before will he kill them. I've realized, Megan, that you are the only person this game is for. That there is no one else who will actually think that this is mildly amusing, because usually my fuck up in my synopsis is entirely geared towards inside jokiness from when we watch the movie, as we're saying like, oh man, he should probably kill them. They're being terrible.
But Amber, don't you think that people want that insight into both our movie watching and our friendship?
I honestly feel like no, they don't. But then we're making a podcast where we're sort of anticipating that yes, they do. But I feel like I'm well on record as to believing that no, they don't, nor should they.
I mean, podcast is self-indulgent no matter what you do, so...
I just want to indulge myself all over the place right now.
In this watery world.
In this watery, soggy, interestingly coiffed world.
Uh-huh.
Ah, the coiffing. Megan.
Ambers.
What do the critics have to say about this? Oh, actually, I just want to say one thing about Amazon's usually amazing synopsis. The mutated hero Mariner believes he's found a map to the mythical dry land. Mariner don't give a fuck about the map to fucking dry land. He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't want dry land. He doesn't know about the map. And when he does learn about the map, he doesn't fucking care.
Nope.
Come on, Amazon.
Yeah.
Okay, now we can move on to the critics.
So Rotten Tomatoes, critics are at 48 and the audience is at 43.
56 for the critics and 41 for the users on Metacritic.
Okay.
You know, not that bad. I mean, we've definitely done worse.
We've done worse. It is interesting that the audience score is lower than
so
the critics.
Low. That is rare.
Yeah.
Especially, I feel like for these older movies too, they tend to be more nostalgically user rated.
Right.
In reality, I was surprised to see how generally positive, or at the very least, like, yeah, this is fine. The blurbies were. And most of them are 50 or above.
Yeah. Yep.
Now I'm like, hey, this is a solid action flick. Solid summer action movie. Decent action movie. It's long and does good action. It doesn't do great science fiction. They don't love Costner's hero. They like Dennis Hopper's bad guy.
Yeah, well, who doesn't?
Didn't love the dialogue. But, I mean, in general, they're just like, yeah, this is fun. It was kind of funny. Yeah. Blew some shit up. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, people seem to not like Costner's portrayal of this, like, anti-hero. They call him humorless and dreary, and he's dislikable, and etc. But I think that kind of is fun about him. That's kind of what I like about him.
Seemed like the point. And I kind of respected the fact that they didn't make him likable. It's just because he shouldn't be, because this world is bonkers. And they've created a situation in which he is actually the best of the drifters you encounter.
Yes, very much so.
And he still sucks, but he's still the best one. And I feel like he's reasonable and well-crafted for the world that they've created, which is bogonkers.
Right, which is, people live on boats and, fish and scavenge and steal from each other and are alone so much.
Yes. Or like are in tiny enclaves of like dirty, desperate people who are afraid their genetics are getting too close together.
Are getting inbred because that's the only people they live with.
It's just like tiny enclaves of resource-starved people and then like individual drifters out on the water by themselves for forever.
Yep.
And then smokers, who are basically like the pirates of this world, who still possess guns and gasoline and jet skis when everybody else is sailing under like wind power and harpoon guns and knives.
Right.
So it's a bad world of heavy isolation and desperation. This was, I believe, to my knowledge, to my memory, young Amber's first post-apocalyptic movie.
Excellent.
I think so. I mean, I was,
that makes sense.
12 when this one came out?
Sure. That sounds right.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of post-apocalyptic movies up to this point are pretty R-rated. And there were rules in my house about how old I had to be to watch an R-rated movie. Mm-hmm. And this one was PG-13. It was in my wheelhouse. I could watch it. And I wanted to. Because, again, grew up in the 90s. So Kevin Costner is kind of what you had if you wanted to watch...
Isn't it strange that he was it
right?
seems strange that he was a movie star.
These days, doesn't it? But back then, that's what you had your bland, gruff white guy in all the starring roles of both the dramas and the action movies.
Right.
And that's what there's your Kevin Costner.
Yep. Yeah. And Amber, I know this is confusing, but this was my first time watching Waterworld. Surprise, surprise.
Oh my goodness, a movie you haven't seen?
I know, right?
That I have seen?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's almost like that's the premise of this podcast.
Yeah, almost.
What I remember from when this movie first came out, so not only was it my first post-apocalyptic film, I think this is, at the very least, again, to my memory currently, the first time I remember feeling antagonistic towards critics. Because
interesting.
I was 12, so I was old enough to be aware of critical reception and sort of the hubbub of the boondoggle that was Waterworld. Anybody who's relatively familiar with this movie would probably know that it was extremely expensive.
Yes.
And then critically not well received, and it didn't make its money back in the theaters. It actually took to syndication and VHS distribution to eventually pull a profit.
Right, exactly.
So it's just like, this is a career buster. This is ridiculous. All these expensive sets. You're doing it on the water. Fuck this movie. It's terrible. Don't watch it. It's worthless. And I went and watched it and was like, this is fun. I like this movie. Critics are fucking useless.
Yep. Absolutely.
And Amber, the BMR critic was born.
Well, it just took 20 years to, come to fruition.
First, podcasts had to be invented, and then you had to force me to do this.
Yep, ma'am. That's the timeline of events. This movie has been called Fish Tar after the critics famously hate movies that are overblown budgets, and Ishtar was kind of an earlier film that was highly, highly made fun of because of how overblown its budget was. So, Fish Tar, get it? It's funny.
Oh, right, because fish and water. Because
Kevin Costner is a fish man.
And because Kevin Costner is a fish man.
Yeah, so I don't want to go into the detail too much because a lot of people probably at least know the generals of it. But, essentially, the movie went way over budget, partially because it filmed for about twice as long as it meant to, because they insisted on doing so many of the practical effects and filming on open water instead of in the big big tanks of water that these kinds of water films are often shot in. And so they either were going to film in Australia or in Hawaii off the coast of Kona. And they decided to do Hawaii because they realized that it was winter in Australia. One of the things they didn't do is they didn't research the weather in Kona and didn't know that there was essentially it rains in Hawaii almost every day in the afternoon. And there are storms off the coast there. And so they essentially had to stop filming almost every day at 3 or 4 in the afternoon, leading it to take so much more time. And then they were building sets that got destroyed in the water. They used up all the steel in Hawaii, Amber, and then they had to fly it in from California. And in order to accommodate the planes that were so heavy from all the steel they were flying in, they had to build an extra quarter mile to the airport in Kona. And then when they were filming shit, they always had to like, you can get a pretty good like view of the ocean, but like they had to always like the Valdez that the smokers are from was built on a rotating platform. So depending on which angle they were shooting from, they could rotate that so that the background didn't include the island. So it's just like, in some ways, I respect the fact that they were kind of being as close to like practical effects and stuff like that as possible. But it's wild how much time and effort they spent on doing that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's great.
That is. I mean, it is amazingly expansive and isolating, and they have those big sweeping open water views because it's big sweeping open water. But damn, you don't fuck with the ocean. Yeah. It will fuck with you back and make your movie very expensive.
Yeah, they talked to Steven Spielberg about filming Jaws, and essentially Spielberg said, "Whatever you do, don't film on the open water." And they're like, "Fuck that, let's do it."
To the open water.
To the open
Spielberg
water.
Doesn't know shit.
Yep. So,
I mean, it's impressive.
Yeah, it's very impressive, and it really does like it is very it's a well done, beautiful film in its own way. And like you said, it does make you feel isolated. It makes you feel stranded in the water. Like you get the feeling like they are alone in the ocean and the ocean goes on forever. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty cool.
It is. Yeah. I mean, it would have maybe been cooler if they'd had a slightly better story.
Here's the other thing, Amber. The original film was at least 40 at least 40 minutes longer. It was almost 3 hours. But they wanted to cut it down because, and now I've forgotten. Kevin Costner was in a film before this that was almost 3 hours long and it did really poorly, and I can't remember the name of it, but like they were like, we can't do 3 hours, we got to cut it. And so what they ended up doing is cutting a lot of the story and, delving into like the atolls and, the things that you'd want to see.
Mm-hmm. To like build out kind of the culture, the history, the narrative of the world you're in. But man, if you have to choose between the big expensive action scenes and the story, you keep the action scenes.
Yep.
That's really what people are there for.
And one more thing, a lot of people almost died making this movie.
Oh, that has to be true.
Like Jean Triplehorn and Tina Marino almost drowned when like the that ship Costner ship actually sank and almost dragged them down with them. Stunt doubles or stunt folks, coordinators got like what is that? The sickness when you come up in the water too quickly from filming.
Oh, the bends?
Yeah.
Is that what that is?
Decompression sickness. Is that the
decompression
same thing?
sickness, yeah. I don't know. I don't go in the water because it's scary as fuck.
Kevin Costner was tied to the mast of a ship at some point, and then a storm came in and they had to like wait to get him off because of the weather. They called Tina Marino, oh God, this is awful. They called Tina Marino jellyfish candy because she got stung by jellyfish at least 3 different separate occasions.
Oh, poor Tina Majorino. She's so young in this.
She's so little in this movie.
Poor little kid. Man, the things you go through to film movies.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll stop talking about. But like there were there's valid criticisms here where like you should research the weather patterns of the place that you're going to try to do really hard filming, right? Mm-hmm. And you need to take care of your actors and stunt coordinators and everybody on the set. They also, sorry, you can probably cut lots of this. They had like all of these ships out on the water, for like makeup and costuming and blah, blah, blah. On none of these ships did they have a bathroom. So they had to keep ferrying people back to the coast where there was a barge with bathrooms, which I don't understand, but that is something that had to happen.
This is amazing. It's sort of just, we're going to film on the open ocean. What's the best way to do that? I don't know. Boats?
I don't know. Start building.
Let's do
Get
it.
some fucking steel.
Yeah.
How much steel? All of it.
The best way to find out how to do it is just do it. Just do it and then like make changes as you go.
Mm-hmm.
Slapdash something together and just keep building up from there.
Yep. If something sinks, build something more on top of it. That's how...
Story of Waterworld.
Yeah.
I feel like this all just makes this movie that much more fun.
I think so too, Amber.
All right, let's get into it, Megan.
Okay.
The critics are, honestly, if you read the blurbs, they're not wrong.
No, I don't think they're wrong.
This is a decent action movie. It's a lot of fun. It has a lot of quirks. And I think the knowledge of how difficult the making of this movie was, I think did impact the score a bit, but probably not that much at the end of the day. It was almost... Hearing about it, I think, deterred people from thinking the movie might be good and predisposed them to disliking it. So that my experience of, hey, this wasn't that bad, probably almost helps.
Yeah.
Buff it in my estimation.
Yep. Amber, when you're introducing your hero to a movie, like, you start off and it's Batman and he, like, saves somebody in trouble.
And then pisses into a cup.
I don't remember that in Batman.
Oh, sorry. Give me another, because I must be thinking of something else. So, what's another hero?
Let's see. Like in Iron Man, Ember. They introduce Iron Man, and he's super cool. He's got all this money and technology.
And then he pisses into a cup and drinks it.
No, Amber, that's not what he builds the iron suit.
I'm sorry, I thought you were telling me about
scraps.
Introducing a super cool hero, and the best way to introduce a super cool hero. Like when you want to open your movie and introduce a super cool hero, the first thing you do,
like Spider-Man.
Yeah, like Spider-Man. And so you open on Spider-Man, but you don't see Spider-Man. You just see Spider-Man's legs. And he puts a cup on the ground, he pees into that cup. Nope. And then you pan up and you look at his butt while he shakes to make sure he gets all the pee. And then he puts his pee into some sort of contraption that hopefully filters it a little bit. And then he drinks the pee. And then you're like, oh man, Spider-Man, he's cool. I want to see what he's up to in this movie.
Yeah, I don't remember. That might have been the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Oh, you didn't watch that one?
Maybe the third one. I didn't watch the third one.
I don't think I watched the third one either. Yeah. Sorry, Toby. Yeah, okay, so when you introduce a hero, it's got to be pee related. Drinking your own pee.
In Waterworld, yes, Amber. In Waterworld, yes.
The beautiful first shot of the movie.
It is interesting. It gives you like the bleak view of like there's not water. It's Waterworld, but you can't drink the water. And not only does he like save every drop of his pee and then, turn it into fresh water, hypothetically, and then like savor drinking it, then he like he kind of washes it around in his mouth and he spits it on his beautiful tiny little lime tree, Amber. So you've already got an idea of how he gets his water, that he's not going to get scurvy. It's they're saying so much in that short scene, Amber.
They are. They're giving us a good picture of like, here is the best of them. Mm-hmm. In this world in which the polar ice caps have melted, covering the world in an unending ocean, the best of them is this guy peeing into this cup and drinking it. And then saving a little bit for his tiny little lime tree.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, that's your fucking hero. It's the post-apocalypse, people. What the fuck did you expect?
Yep.
We drink our pee here.
Yeah. I mean,
and those are the ones that are living like kings.
Yeah, he has it good, and
it's actually a pretty solid opening. Like it's a little slow, but you're right. Like introduces the concepts and kind of the machinations, and then he has this like cool interaction with another drifter who fucked him.
You learn the drifter's code, Amber.
You learn the drifter's code. You don't board each other's vessels.
Mm-hmm.
If the person is like down doing his thing in the water, but if he doesn't come back, that vessel is yours. Right. Fair.
Yeah.
You're supposed to exchange things when you meet each other, and the other guy's like, "Hey, I'll just give you some information. There's an atoll, that away."
Right.
But I don't need anything in return. But guess what, people?
He seems so nice, except
He fucking stole every single lime off that lime tree that
every
Kevin Costner
single
had been
one.
painstakingly watering
Yeah.
with his pee drink.
It's almost like a bonsai lime tree. It's like tiny and it's got lime. I mean, like it would have to be tiny because like it's on a, has limited.
It's on a
growth
boat.
space and it's on a boat. It's on a boat.
It's on a boat.
And it gets limited water. All of that.
The worst thing he does as he's sailing away, so on the horizon. So it also introduces smokers simultaneously.
Yes. Yep.
So you've got drifters, drifter code, the hardships of living, and then smokers. And it's a bunch of guys on some rusted out jet skis, and both of them like, oh fuck, I need to get my sail up and get the fuck out of here. I think I can get away in time. And as they're, trying to pull away, other drifter starts juggling the limes in front of him.
What a dick move.
What a pointless dick move. You just leave with the limes.
Yeah, they had a relatively pleasant interaction. And yeah, but then you had to like show off that you took the fucking limes, you ass.
There was no reason to do that. The only reason he did it is because he thought he was away. His sails were up, Kevin Costner's weren't, and the drifters were coming, and it was just, he just had to twist the knife and be an asshole. Kevin Costner had been nothing but gracious in that exchange.
Gracious, yeah.
So I don't feel so bad when Kevin Costner effectively murders him.
Yeah. Kevin Costner essentially goes like he was diving, which has allowed the other drifter to come and steal his limes. And so he wants to pick up the shit that he'd been diving for. And so he goes to get that, which is dangerous because he's kind of not heading away from the smokers immediately. But his ship is so cool, Amber. He's like,
so
this
cool.
is one thing that like they make a very good case for his ship being like fucking awesome. Like it's got like sails that pop up and he can pull the thing and this thing comes up and it can do another thing. And yeah, it's awesome.
It's tricked the fuck out, post-apocalyptic rusted out style.
Yeah, Mad Max style tricked out.
Yeah,
sure.
Mad Max boats.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
And what he does is he picks up the thing he dove for. He's able to come around. He's got like, are they called catamarans or something? I don't know. It's one of those boats that has whatever.
Yeah, it's like 3 hulls stretched out with like netting in between them. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's able to like run over this guy in his smaller boat and take down his sail. And he essentially looks back at the guy and makes the like slit throat motion. And like, yeah, you don't take somebody's limes, boyo. Like,
don't take those limes. Don't rub it in.
Yeah,
like, Casey would have just pieced out.
Yep.
He would have, you both would have had to fend for yourselves, but you had to be like, hey, I took your limes, asshole. Well, now you don't have a mast and those motherfucking smokers are killing you. Oh, yep, there you go.
Yep.
Because they also have guns. Opening scene really, really gets you situated pretty well. You've got a hero. He's got his ways and his means. There are dangers in the ocean. And those dangers, pretty much, your fellow man.
Yes. Yeah.
But you also need your fellow man because that's who you trade with. That's how you get the good stuff.
Right. And so we get to where we find out that what Kevin Costner had gone back for was he'd gotten some dirt, Amber, pure dirt. And he goes to what they call an atoll, which is essentially like a trading post that's got a bunch of people in it. And he trades the dirt for whatever their money is. I can't remember.
It was shits or something, whatever. Basically, just like a form of currency that then buys him water and a tomato plant.
Yep.
Things that he needs. But he doesn't want to hang around. He doesn't want to be around people. Everybody else you'd think would be desperate for human contact. I don't know. Say if a group of people came up to you and were like, hey, so here's a young girl. We're getting pretty inbred here. But if you would just like impregnate her, stick around until the baby comes, and then we will send you off with all the shit you need. We need new genes here. Most people would jump at that chance, Megan. Yeah. Of course.
Yeah, seems like a pretty good deal.
But for some reason, our mysterious drifter is he's not feeling it.
Oh yeah, they fucking freaked out when he wouldn't have sex with their women.
Wow, he just wanted to go on his way and not accept a young girl and impregnating her. So they attacked him.
And found out he's a muto, Amber.
He's got gills behind his ears.
Yep, little tiny gills that sustain him in the water.
Just somehow those tiny ear gills manage to filter enough oxygen from the water to power a fully grown man's lungs.
Yeah.
That tracks.
Sure. And
Evolution.
Maybe
It's beautiful.
Spend all the time under. Maybe it just gives them a little extra.
Yeah.
A little extra, Amber.
A little something extra.
Yeah.
Anywho, they decide to recycle murder him because he's a mutant.
Yeah, it escalates very quickly. And like this kind of thing stresses me out in a movie. Like, oh, he's got like water and a tomato plant, and he's gonna be great. It's like he's got all his supplies and now he's ready to take off. And then it goes all very poorly.
They take all his shit and they imprison him, and then they decide to throw him into some mud and recycle him for their community because he's a mutant, and apparently they hate mutants.
Yeah. And by mud, you mean what is almost definitely feces and, as we saw, other dead bodies.
Yeah, it's poop and corpses. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So basically, the movie from here is we've established his badassness, but also his otherness.
Right.
We also meet Jean Triplehorn and Tina Margarina's characters. They happen to be at this atoll.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another old man with them. And the conceit is that Tina Majorino, Enola, has a tattoo on her back. And let me be clear, I believe her character is supposed to be, what, 12?
Yeah, at the max, yeah.
And Helen, Jean Triplehorn's character, and crazy guy, I don't even remember what the character's
Gregory,
name.
I think.
Old Gregory?
Yep,
Excellent.
pretty sure it's something like that.
They're pretty sure
Old
that
Gregor, excuse me.
Old Gregor they're pretty sure that the map on Enola's back is a map to dry land.
Right.
Everyone thinks it's a myth, but oh my goodness, it must be real.
Right. But they
Here's
don't
a
know
map.
how to interpret it yet.
They don't know how to read the map. It has characters they don't understand, and basically just sort of it's a circle with an arrow pointing up to some mountains.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Up to the
people who did
mountains.
this.
Yeah.
And they think that the mariner, since he showed up with dirt, maybe he knows where dry land is anyway, so maybe they don't even need the tattoo.
Right.
But smokers are also looking for Enola with the tattoo on their back, and they attack the atoll, leading to some awesome action, and Enola, Helen, and the mariner, Kevin Costner's character, all coming together to go on a fun trip together because he's in a cage, they get him out of the cage in exchange for boating services.
Yes, exactly.
And a one-way ticket to dry land.
Right. Yes.
Old Gregor was going to go with them and help out, but gosh darn it, his hot air balloon gets activated and he's the only one who gets whisked off into the sky.
Right. It's a very Wizard of Oz because he doesn't understand how to control it just yet.
Oh no, it wasn't supposed to happen. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Hope you don't die with the smokers.
Yep.
The atoll attack also introduces us to our bad guy,
Yes.
Deacon, played by Dennis Hopper, with great verve,
Yes.
whimsy.
We've got so many characters in this. Like, they're attacking the atoll. We've got the Semaphore Boys, Amber.
Oh, Deacon's Semaphore Boys.
Yeah.
So the attack is pretty well. He's clearly done this before.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's got a boat where there's just a guy with a freaking Gatling gun just having at it. They have, the jet skiers also with guns. They have a plane.
Yes,
And what do
they
you
have a
do
plane.
with a plane in Waterworld to affect an attack, Megan?
The only thing you can do, Amber, first, you deploy your ramp. A ramp, you say? Yeah, the ramp, the floating ramp.
So you've got boats with guns and you've got boats with just ramps.
I guess so.
Are the jet skis using the ramps?
No, Amber. The water skiers are.
I'm sorry, the water skiers. So
water
boats are
skiers-
pulling water skiers
No,
and
no.
jumping over.
No. Don't be silly.
Okay,
The
what?
plane is pulling the water skiers over the boat ramp that they put.
Amazing.
Yeah, and then they crash into the middle of this. The atoll is essentially like a circular thing with water in the middle that the little city-ish thing is built around.
Big metal walls
Yeah, it's
that are being jumped over by water skiers pulled by plane.
Yep.
Yay! I love Waterworld.
It's delightful. And then the jet skis do go up it, but the jet skis also go under the water and pop up in the middle. They've got all kinds of plans, Amber.
And it's all being guided by Dennis Hopper, who's sitting on this throne on this boat with two boys.
Yep.
What are those boys? Oh, they're semaphore boys. So he's directing the entire attack through his semaphore boys, who are just flagging with such precision and directing the assault to his liking. And it's wonderful.
It's very good.
It's a solid action movie. You have a good,
is.
funny bad guy who's also a psychopath with his band of dirty boys doing all the murder.
Yep.
You have damsels in distress and a magical what's-it that is tattooed on one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And a taciturn drifter who can save them both.
Right.
And maybe they can save him too.
Maybe they can break into his heart.
This launches the journey of Enola, Helen, and the Mariner.
And they're instant friends, Amber. They just get along well from the very beginning.
So let's talk about this. Megan,
yes.
In the beginning of this threesome journey together, whose side are you on?
Well, Amber, I'm very much on the Mariner side.
Oh man, am I on the Mariner side? Helen and Enola are being the worst.
They're being the fucking worst.
I mean, terrible.
In the
terrible
very beginning,
guests.
he very much thinks to throw the little girl off because they don't have enough water. Like, his shit is broken. He didn't get all the water and stuff all the supplies he was supposed to have because the shit hit the fan. So he's like, well, it's better to get rid of her now, not have the little one waste the supplies. Rather than having a slow death later and we all die. So he's very practical.
He's not wrong. Okay,
he's not
Megan,
wrong.
He's not wrong. Well, most people will be like, save the kid, at all costs. How will she survive if both the adults are dead in this harsh world? She won't. So the people who are most likely to survive, Mariner and Helen, okay, slow death for everyone, or just huck the kid overboard and, maybe they'll survive. I get it's practical.
It's practical. And in this world that we've seen, this shit is rough. All the
harsh realities.
It's alone. And he's already just murdered a guy for taking his limes, which is not a harsh enough punishment if you ask me. But
so bad about those limes.
But yeah, I mean, you see his point. He doesn't do it. But then Enola and Helen are just being the fucking, taking his shit without asking. They're sassing him.
Sassing like nobody's business, yes.
Yeah. And he's a loner. He doesn't enjoy sass. And he's, ready to throw small children off the boat. You don't sass that man.
Just absolute straight up sass. And I blame Enola less than I blame Helen, because Helen is the adult here. Helen understands reality situation better than Enola. Enola seems to have been insanely coddled to the extent that she has zero fear or understanding of consequences or how the world works. And I get that. She's treated like the golden child because she showed up in a basket filled with dirt with a magic tattoo on her back. And it was like, oh, you're special. We should keep you safe. And, oh, the smokers want you, so we should keep you safe.
Right.
But then nobody is telling her not to be an asshole to the very dangerous man who's the only reason you're still alive and may be the reason you die.
Yep.
Come on, Helen.
Yeah, come on, Helen.
You're the reason Enola gets thrown overboard.
Yep. He saves her after throwing her overboard.
I mean, technically, yes. Grudgingly, because he doesn't want to do it.
Yep.
So, at the beginning, I'm pretty much on the Mariner side. I don't like what they do with the women in this. Because Helen lives in this world too.
Right. She should not be surprised by him. She should not be surprised by the desperateness of their situation. She should not be surprised that 2 more mouths to feed on a small boat is asking a lot. She lives in a world where she's seen, she got onto that atoll somehow and she's seen people come and go. She knows the deal.
And I think, maybe she's assuming that because he showed up with a big old thing of dirt.
Right.
So he must be rich and know where land is, and this should be easy peasy. But when he explains the situation, it's not like that. She should immediately kind of be trying to make herself useful or I don't know, like readjusting her expectations. You did not hook up with a sugar daddy. You hooked up with a drifter. He's very good. He's not gonna rape you, but that's about it. And that's apparently in this world's best case scenario.
Yeah. He's in this world. He's like a fucking hero.
Oh boy. And she does offer sex in exchange for Enola's life. He doesn't take her up on it because she's not into it. Okay, I guess that makes him a gentleman.
It would be hard to watch our hero take advantage of a woman and still, be on his side. So they made the right move there.
But then later they make a different move, which shifts my opinion of the Mariner and whose side I'm on.
Yes, and what happens, Amber? And I'm going to defend the Mariner after you tell us what happened.
So we encounter a new drifter. This dude is bonkers. The first one, the lemon thief, was pretty lucid, stupid at the end of the day. Sorry, limes. I'm so sorry. They were 100% limes.
Don't get it fucking wrong, Amber.
I've
killed for less.
I know. Oh, jeez. I lost my train of thought with fear. I peed a little. So we encountered a new drifter. Mm-hmm. First one was lucid, cagey, beefy.
Sure.
And ultimately, so much of this world is survival of the fittest.
Yes.
The first drifter, not smart enough to survive. You don't show the thing you got away with. He just assumed because the guy's sails were down, he couldn't catch him. Don't assume.
No.
This guy has been alone way too long and has gone so crazy. So crazy, so fast. He is repeating himself, barely lucid, hopping around. He wants sex.
Yep.
Really not thrilled with him suggesting it with Enola. That wasn't necessary.
It was very upsetting.
I get that it illustrates how fucked up the world is and the people in it are, but I was already there. I didn't actually need that bit.
I didn't need that to be said,
but hoo boy, he's willing to settle with Helen, and wouldn't you know it, the Mariner is willing to rent Helen to him for half an hour in exchange for his precious 2 pieces of paper.
Yeah, it's strange, right, Amber?
You can't eat the paper. You can't drink the paper.
No.
He doesn't need the paper.
No. We find out later he has paper. He has magazines.
He has full magazines. Full magazines with many pieces of paper. This is 2 pieces of pretty washed out paper.
Yep.
So I hard pull in favor of Helen and Enola on this one.
Right. The fact that he thought he could sell them like he's
not sell.
Yeah, right.
Rent.
Excuse me. Pimp them. Yeah.
Indeed.
Although, Amber, here's what I think. We've already talked about the drifter code, right? You don't board people's ship without permission. You trade when you're around them. You keep it civil. I think he knows, the Mariner knows he's got 2 extra mouths to feed. He knows this drifter is not okay. Just super not okay.
Very not okay and super horny. Yes.
Yeah. So I think what he does is he sets a honeypot for him. He says, yeah, you can sleep with Helen. You can have half an hour with her. Sure.
I mean, he does do that. But then he changes his mind. It seems like he changes his mind because he feels bad and doesn't want to go through it. Are you suggesting?
I think he knew he was going to change his mind, counted on this drifter who was, not okay, to turn on him, which he does. And then he would have a valid reason to shank him and take his shit.
Self-defense shanking so he can have all of his belongings. Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. If that's the case,
yes,
I'm still pretty fucked up, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah, it's not nice,
but it's very in keeping with the brutal reality.
Mm-hmm.
And he's keeping to the code. He's not going to straight up just murder the guy and steal his shit. He just went. He's like, you know what? Trades off. Guy couldn't handle it. He broke the code first, so then he can murder him.
Yep.
And take his stuff.
It's brutal, Amber. I'm not saying it's like something I would want someone to do, but in this world, it's kind of not as bad as it could be. Natural
selection, baby.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess that is significantly better than, hey, I'll rent you out for a couple pieces of paper.
Yeah.
maybe is this bad? Did I do a bad thing?
I
Hey,
think
12-year-old, is this a bad thing I did? Yeah, no, I should stop this. Nah, this wasn't right.
Yep. I think he was always going to stop at Emmer. That's my,
Sure. Let's retcon that shit.
That's my headcanon.
Okay.
Everyone knows how I love my headcanon.
It's more real than reality. Excellent. After this, the rest of the movie has to happen. We of course are shown by the mariner that Helen's dreams of him leading them to dry land are for naught. His dirt comes from the bottom of the water because he just goes into the cities and just scavenges stuff off the bottom.
And something that I hadn't really understood until now is that the folks in this world don't understand that there were cities below them, like that there, which was really interesting.
Like it's been long enough that they just don't know what the world was.
Don't know what the world was, which is, I mean, that makes sense. In fact, someone called later in the movie calls him blasphemous for suggesting that there were cities below them. Yeah, and he in a very smart moves takes Helen underneath the water so that he has this like air bladder bubble thing and can like weigh it down, and so that her head can be in it, and then of course he doesn't need air because he's a fish.
He's got gills. He's got tiny gills and webbed toes.
Yes, and webbed toes. And he takes her down. The two adults go down to the bottom of the ocean and leave the little girl who everybody is searching for on the boat alone.
Well, they don't do that immediately after fleeing a confrontation with the smokers who are looking for Enola, right?
Oh, they do. And it was like essentially right after the mariner gets shot. And so he's also nursing a fresh bullet wound.
So he's been shot through his abdomen, and they just fled the smokers. So now it's time to take a quick little stop, burn some flares, and show Helen the bottom.
All of the flares, Amber. He doesn't just burn a flare and hold on to it. He seems to be just, I don't know, going through like half a dozen. Yeah.
Do they at least like scavenge some stuff off the bottom while they're there?
He shows her the dirt, and then they go up.
Okay. Is it at least cool looking?
It is cool looking. Yeah.
I mean, for the 90s, it's pretty
cool looking. For the 90s,
cool
it's cool looking. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess it's worth it that when they get up to the top, the fucking smokers are there.
The fucking smokers are everywhere. The little girl is gone.
Do that? Just take his word for it, or wait until you're farther. I don't know, but that was dumb, and you deserve to have your boat burned.
I feel like it feels like they went like 20 feet away from the smokers. Like, okay, time to joyride.
They'll never find us now. Let's stay completely still and leave the little girl alone.
Yep. This is, of course, when the deacon gets Enola and tries to interpret her, takes her back to they got like it's the Exxon Valdez, and so that's where they're getting all their oil, and he's got a huge like following of people on this huge ship, and they're gonna try to figure out what her tattoo means.
They've got cigarette and booze and canned meat, but the oil is dwindling, and they gotta find that dry land.
Yeah, yep. And he's essentially like becomes some sort of prophet and feels like he has to deliver to keep the people from turning on him.
Oh, they are getting antsy.
Yeah,
he's been promising them dry land, and he is not delivering it. And nor can he interpret the tattoo on her back. So he still can't deliver it.
No, but he can hold up the little girl and say, "Look at this." Like from like 100 feet up in the air, he's like, "Look at this little girl's back. There's a mark on it. This means something."
Yep. Now row, because I know where it is in any direction. Don't worry about it. Oh, meanwhile, Helen and the mariner are saved by old Grigger.
Oh, he came back. He finally learned how to use his airship as a dirigible.
The burning boat helped him navigate towards them shore.
Sure, it was very clever for them to set the boat on fire. He would have found them, and if they hadn't.
I would have preferred. So it basically it lands on the mariner doing a one-man army assault on the Exxon Valdez, which is it's a good
it's
sequence.
Yeah.
And he does it because he wants his friend back. He and Enola have bonded. He taught her to swim. He's
Amber, you're saying that Enola didn't know how to swim?
Oh my goodness, she didn't know how to swim, Megan. It was silly.
How do you live on the water and not know how to swim?
I don't know.
Again, like you said, she's a special child. She doesn't have to do shit.
But her guardian Helen, in a world of water, you would think would be, okay, you have to know how to swim.
You can get knocked in the water just by, like, taking a misstep through the rusted metal that makes our world.
Helen is the worst guardian.
Yeah.
But they, there's a little, essentially, some people escaped from the atoll, including, old Grigor and some other folks that were not the worst people in the world.
Right, yeah.
Which was hard because everyone seems to be the worst people in the world. The only people left are the worst. And they don't want to go back for her, but they need her because old Grigor now knows how to interpret the symbols because of the paper that Kevin Costner got from the Crazy Drifter. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But gosh darn it, they didn't didn't draw it down because paper, hard to come by. Drawing things, hard to come by, so they need her. But really, Kevin Costner doesn't give a crap. He just wants his friend back.
He just wants his friend back, Amber.
This sequence is good, as he's scaling the ship and then going inside of the ship and then creeping around its innards and killing people one at a time. Well, most of the people are above listening to the deacon give this big inspirational speech. And then when they all rush down to the bottom, he goes up top. After having done this like sneak murder mission, he just sort of strides straight to the deacon. He's like, give me the kid back. Deacon's like, no, I don't want to do that. So then he lights a flare and holds it over a tube that leads directly to the oil in the ship.
He wouldn't though, Amber. That would blow them all up.
He absolutely drops that flare after giving a small smile.
Which made me very happy. Like, It made me so happy because they never do that shit. They never
do that shit.
Yeah.
You would never drop that match because then we'd all burn. You would never blow that hatch because then we'd all get ejected into space. Fucking Mariner doesn't give a fuck. He's gonna drop that flare.
Yeah, dystopian. Like, he's brutal. Like, he'll burn everything to save this friend of his.
Yup.
Amber, there's somebody who lives on the oil. There's a guy, I believe he's called the depth gauge guy.
He is the depth gauge guy, yes. Uh-huh.
What's his job?
Well, Megan, he lives in the oil, the tanker part of the oil tanker, just on a little boat.
He lives on the oil?
Yeah, he just lives down there. He's this old, pale, like scrawny man on this little floating thing on the oil, and his job is to keep track of where the oil level is at. And so you do have a scene earlier where Deacon just like opens this tiny little thing and like calls down to him, and he's like, "Good day," or "Good night," whichever the case may be. Just gonna let you know that, you've only got 4 feet of oil left, boyo. And he's just closed back in the darkness.
Yep.
So when this flare comes down this hole and the oil just immolates into this ball of fire and comes towards the depth gauge guy, his response is wonderful. It stuck with me as a kid. Oh, thank God.
Oh, thank God.
The sweet release of fiery death has finally come for me.
Yeah, I live on oil in the dark on a tiny boat.
There are good little chuckles in this movie, like good solid dark humor in this post-apocalyptic wasteland of terrible people, and that for me was a love. I don't know. I find, like, especially when I was younger, I found wanton death of people very upsetting. Mm-hmm. But that might have also this I feel like this movie was a lot of firsts for me. That might have been the first time where I was like, yeah, that guy's life is bad. This is probably the best case scenario for him.
And he's happy about it.
He seems happy about it. I guess I shouldn't be sad. Sweet release of death. Oh, that's upsetting.
That guy stole those limes. He should fucking burn in hell for all eternity.
I mean, I grasped the concept of vengeance as a tween, Megan. Come on. That's the language of fucking 12-year-old hormones.
Take someone's limes, Amber.
Take those fucking limes. Kill him. Kill him, Kevin Costner. I wish you'd done it with your bare hands. That's ocean justice.
Yes, it is.
After that, the action's done. They go to dry land because blah, blah, blah. But not everybody. Only there was a small bastion of folks from the atoll that was attacked.
Yep.
And then there was an even smaller group of people who went to rescue the Mariner and Enola from the sinking Valdez ship.
Right, on the dirigible.
So it was just Helen, old Grigger, and then this guy that was sort of like the marshal or the sheriff for the atoll.
Yeah.
Seemed like a decent guy.
Yeah, as decent as they come in this world.
So you've got those three people, and then you've got Kevin Costner and Enola.
Yep.
Who had come from a boat of larger survivors who didn't want to come and help rescue Enola.
Right, yep.
Do they go back for them before they go to dry land,
they
Megan?
Do not, Amber.
Okay, so they just fuck those people.
Yeah, they fuck right off, Amber.
They fuck right off to dry land.
Yep.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah. And I think there's like an old lady and maybe another person. Yeah, there's less than 10 of them on there. Yeah. So, yeah. They go to Mount Everest, Amber. Where else would they be?
5 of them fuck right off to dry land.
Yep. Oh, boy.
Although, we can also just quickly mention, because I found myself amused by your response to this, there is a moment when they're rescuing Enola. They're up on the dirigible, but she gets knocked off.
Yep.
And she falls into the water below.
Yes. Oh, my
God.
Yes.
So the deacon and 2 random other guys are pretty much the only survivors of the smoker ship.
Yep.
And he signals to all of them to go and get Enola. And wouldn't you know it, they're all equidistant from her.
Yep.
And they all converge on her from different sides. And then Kevin Costner ties a rope to his leg, which apparently is the perfect bungee rope. And he jumps down, dives into the water, grabs her, and is bounced back up just as the jet skis are closing in. And they all hit each other and explode into a fiery ball of death. Megan.
Uh-huh.
If he hadn't grabbed Enola...
This made me laugh so much. They would have fucking still exploded on top of her. Like, it didn't matter if she was there or not. They were all gonna, like, meet in the middle and die.
Absolutely. He clears that by a second.
Yeah.
They were full speed ahead, not slowing down, just driving at each other in a game of little girl chicken.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's fantastic. What a great way for the bad guy to die.
Yep, absolutely. Amber, we find the answer to all of our questions on this island, which is the top of Mount Everest. We find we find a little hut and 2 bodies. Sorry, not bodies, skeletons. They're just bones now.
Okay.
And they luckily left out several like versions of the tattoo on paper and the tattoo kit out like betwixt them.
So I guess we're supposed to presuppose that their last living act on this earth. Sorry, they had like 3 last living acts. They were dying.
Yes.
So they tattooed their toddler.
Must have been 2, yeah.
Stuck it in a basket.
With some dirt.
Got it past the tide, so it didn't just come back to the island.
Yep.
Set it adrift in the ocean, fingers crossed somebody finds it.
Right.
And then laid down and died on their bed
laid
together.
down on the bed amongst their tattoo equipment and died.
Yes. Well, they can't put it away, Megan. They're about to die.
Yeah, good point.
They have seconds left.
Also, when, I don't know, when Jean Triplehorn, when Helen found Enola, like, she must have been pretty damn close to Mount Everest because that little kid doesn't live very long. She must have been within a day.
Right.
Of there.
Right. Whoever found that child should have immediately just begun searching in a grid. Like, just... I don't understand, because that baby can't get far and still be alive.
Nope.
Also.
Yes, please.
Did the polar ice caps just, like, flash melt? Was it all, like, global warming is what they mean by global warming is like literal, like, just microwave of the 2 polar, like, aliens came and were just like, bing! And then there was just a tidal wave of water that covered everything instantly.
Well,
because how the fuck are you not gonna fuck off to the highest point on the map?
Yeah. Well, 2 things, Amber. One is that the polar ice caps melting would not lead to all of the water, but all of the land except for Mount Everest to be underwater.
I do not accept that, but let's move on. The aliens also, okay, so they melted the ice caps and also brought more water,
and
okay?
brought some water. Okay, fine. Okay.
They also dropped off more water.
I think, Amber, you are underestimating the power of rich white folks who would, as this was happening, immediately start some sort of war over the fact that getting to Mount Everest or buying Mount Everest.
Okay.
And I think 6 of the richest people bought Mount Everest, kept everybody else away from it, let them die or make boats and try to survive in the water. And they brought their horses and they lived there in a pristine, gorgeous land until they had to tattoo their child and send her off.
Oh my gosh. I can actually see this in my mind. It's sort of the battle of the mega yachts. Just a bunch of, like, the water shows up, but they all have their mega yachts and they all fuck off to Everest. And then they have just a big fucking war over who gets to live in a pristine nature preserve, because they can't all stay there because God forbid if I can't have my estate with my Arabian horses. Okay. Yep. The new world is going to be beautiful. It's going to be me, my handful of offspring, because I don't have time to make a lot of them, and my horses.
Yep.
The rest of all y'all can die.
Yes, pretty much. What you don't see on the other side of the now island Mount Everest is the 60 yachts that the
yacht graveyard of all the other rich people
with musket balls in the side of them from the rich person war. And I think and several generations of them lived there until the final generation just were dying and sent off their little tattooed child.
Oh my gosh, you know what happened? Like the help died off.
And
then they realized how hard it is to clean their own shit and raise their own kids.
Yeah.
And that's why there's just the one couple and child left. Just oh, this is so hard. Well, let's just have one. Oh, there's not enough of us now. Oh, we should have let them breed. Why did we sterilize the help? Because pristine nature preserve. God damn it. Oh, man. Were we already living in a dystopian future before the ice caps melted? Yes, I do believe we were. That is unfortunate. Well, let's tattoo our daughter and stick her in this basket.
Yep. I've got the dirt. You've got the child. Okay.
I do. Freshly tattooed.
Beautiful.
Because paper probably won't survive. Although, their one message in a bottle is a tattooed baby. Mm-hmm. Did they really have... Could they not have also, I don't know, tattooed a horse and sent it out in a boat?
Amber, maybe they did, and that horse didn't make it. Maybe there was lots of paper with her that explained everything in detail. It's just
tattooed squirrels sent out in little rounds.
All around the reef, you find all these tattooed seagull, tattooed,
It's just nobody was showing up. It's I guess it's gonna be a baby.
Well, I'm getting ready to die. Margaret, how about you? Yeah, George. All right.
Time to tattoo the baby.
Tattoo the baby.
No one showed up to take care of her.
Yep.
The squirrels didn't work.
Yep.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And everybody lives happily. Sorry, not everybody. The 5 people they decided to bring with them lives happily ever after?
Well, the mariner decides he does not belong on land, Amber, so he's gonna, and there's also another, there's a boat that looks awful like his boat, on the beach, so he fixes that up and he takes off. To
find other people and bring them there, since there's only one old man, one woman, one younger man, and a tiny girl, and that's it?
He doesn't actually say that.
Does anybody say that? Or are they just he doesn't belong here, he wants to go back to the water because he's a fish man?
Yeah, that's what they say. I mean, the only thing that would make sense would be for him to go and find other people and send them that way. Except we've already established that he's the sanest one in this fucking world. And if he sends anybody else there, they're going to go there and they're going to fuck that shit up. So...
And they specifically don't send him out to get more people. That is not discussed.
No.
It's not a part of the movie. He just leaves.
No. He just fucks right off Ember.
So, Megan, is this movie ultimately a post-apocalyptic world that argues for the extinction of the human race?
I think so, Ember. I think they're saying sometimes it's better off to just,
Leave the world to the horses and the behemoths under the sea.
Yes, please.
It really seems that way because you have 4 people there. That you can't make more people with that. They're just they're on dry land now. That's great. They have the stuff that they need, but that's it. Everybody else is straight up dying off.
Yeah, and everybody else we meet is horrible.
The smokers have been eliminated, but the other drifters are terrible too. And
right, exactly.
everybody's they attacked Kevin Costner because he had gills and didn't want to sleep with a 16-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, that's actually kind of nice. I like that. I like that a lot. It's a post-apocalyptic, like the last hard scrabble vestiges of humanity struggle to survive, but dry land is this beacon of hope, and then they find it, and they're like, we should probably just end it with us, huh? Yeah, you want to bring anyone else? I don't think that would be good. The horses look so happy. Yeah. Well, the secret dies with us. The secret dies with us.
We're agreed.
Let's send the Mariner away to bring more... No, not to bring more people.
No. He's going to be happier out there.
And he has everything he needs to live his life without having to trade with anyone else because he took it all from... Okay. Well, and humanity quietly dies.
Yeah. It's for the best, Amber. So, Amber, how would you rate this movie on the rock scale? Regrettable, outstanding, crazeballs, or K?
I think this movie is crazeballs. I think the action is pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I don't know if it's outstanding, but it's, big set pieces, excellent use of stunt people and explosions. Visually, it is very impressive, but I think it's mostly crazeballs.
Yeah, they did what they set out to do. Like, they took that time and that money, but they did do what they meant to do, which is to make you feel like this was a water world.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So... That's pretty great, and like most of it was done with practical effects, and that's cool.
I think it is a perfect expression of the mediocre white guy of the 90s genre of action movie, complete with Helen was scrappy, she was dynamic, she was strong, but she was almost always wrong. So
yes, and being treated like property sometimes, and
even by our hero.
Yeah.
It made it so that, of course, she's basically a damsel in distress. Not the most irritating of damsels in distress that we've come across. And I did kind of appreciate Enola's bluster, even if she was kind of a bratty little jerk.
So she won me over when she was hanging out with Deacon.
Oh my gosh,
and just being as fucking sassy as she'd been to the Mariner. And I think you said this during this, where she started building the Mariner's lore. It was pretty funny because they cut back and forth from her talking about he can smell you from 100 miles away and he can hear you through blah blah blah, and
he's killed 100 men, and
Yep, and then you cut to the Mariner just stabbing people under the boat and coming to find her.
Yep, just Ramboing his way through the tanker. It is impressive. Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, he's coming for you. He's gonna come for me. And he's gonna kill you all, and you'll be sorry. It is. Yeah.
She's real fucking sassy.
She cranks the sass up to 100 for the smokers,
which is pretty endearing.
It is. Yeah. It is. I do come around on Enola, and not just because she's played by Tina Majorino, and I love Tina Majorino.
She's fantastic. Yes.
So they are definitely tropes of 90s women.
Yeah.
In action movies, which is not the best thing, but they're also not the worst version I've ever seen.
Sure. And what about the people of color? How many?
They are in the movie sometimes. There are non-white people in this movie in places, not in main roles.
Amber? Yeah.
They do say words, but none of them are main characters. No. Weirdly enough, this world is ruled still predominantly by white folks.
Yeah.
Even the people who claimed Mount Everest are white people.
Yep. Yes, indeed.
Megan.
Yes, Amber.
Do you have a niece's story?
I do. So we were going to see these Christmas lights and holiday lights that they had out. It was a drive-through thing, and Dan and I and the kiddos went, and like they do a really good job of like there's just tons of lights and there's snowflakes and there's like the lights kind of blink in this way that it looks like pages are turning and there's a book and a Christmas tree and a menorah and like it's just all this stuff. We were, of course, talking with the kids, and there was a dove, and it looked like it was like flying, and somebody pointed that out, and Maddie goes, "Oh, a chicken bok bok bok." And she called it a chicken for the whole time, and then said chicken bok bok bok.
What a beautiful, graceful, majestic chicken bok bok bok.
Christmas, the Christmas chicken, Amber?
Yeah, Christmas chickens.
Yeah.
What was a dove even doing there, Megan? Why would a dove be more logical than a chicken? I support the chicken.
I think there was a whole peace on Earth thing that was happening there, but whatever.
A piece of chicken on Earth.
Piece of chicken bok 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 on Earth.
Excellent.
Yes. Amber, do you have any recommendations?
I'm going to recommend a Celestial Seasonings tea.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, because, anybody can get it. It's just sort of it's a basic type of tea that anyone can have. It's not fancy. Get in a grocery store, order it off of Amazon by the case like I do. But I love black teas, but I'm kind of caffeine sensitive, and I can't really handle them, not on a regular basis. But I like that good, bold black tea flavor. And so I stumbled on this type of Celestial Seasonings tea called Roast Aroma.
Roast Aroma?
It is caffeine-free.
Uh-huh.
But it's got a good, solid, like a little bitter flavor. It's roasted barley and chicory and carob and cinnamon, allspice, and star anise. As it's a very pleasant, hearty brown brew. And I recently started drinking it with like a little bit of vanilla soy milk in it, which I never have vanilla soy milk on me because I don't use it for anything other than making biscuits. And I may or may not have started making biscuits again periodically. Mm-hmm. And I thought, hey, maybe if I use this up with putting it a little bit in my tea, then I won't eat biscuits as much.
Sure.
It just made me buy more vanilla soy milk.
Of course it did, yeah.
Yeah. But a little bit in the tea is amazing because,
I imagine.
Sugar and vanilla flavor.
Yeah.
What is there not to like?
Yeah.
I almost never put additives in my tea, but oh boy. So yeah. Celestial Seasonings, Roast Aroma with a little vanilla soy milk.
Delightful.
It's been a lovely winter concoction.
Excellent.
Megan, do you have a recommendation?
Yeah, we watched Encanto with the kiddos. It's a new Disney movie. It's on Disney Plus, and it was delightful. It is, is it Pixar? I can't
probably
keep things straight anymore, but probably
it's Disney and animated.
Yeah. So it's about this family that some of them have magical powers and they live in this magical house, and then the things start to go awry, but then they have to figure it out as a family. And of course there's singing because it's Disney, and it's delightful. It's I feel like the critics kind of have been lukewarm on it. And I really enjoyed it, and a bunch of the songs keep getting stuck in my head. So, so it's very good. Encanto.
Megan, this has been delightful. It's wonderful to see you again after this hiatus. Yes. I look forward to your voice eventually being resuscitated by some magical spell. Maybe we'll find a genie. We'll figure this out. Mm-hmm. And I hope you have a good weekend this year, this new year.
Yes.
You now have one precious good weekend that you can spend at any point in time during this year.
Perfect. I will put that in my back pocket for later. And I will just end like I always do, Amber, by saying, a rock in the middle of the sea is never afraid of rain.
A rock in the middle of the sea, Megan. Is the rock just floating? Do rocks float?
I don't think so.
Okay, so it's under the sea then. We're talking about a rock that's under the sea.
Yeah, it's never afraid of rain, Amber.
Are rocks not in the middle of the sea afraid of rain?
Terrified.
Why?
Because it gets them wet.
And this rock is in the middle of the sea is not wet.
No, but it's already wet, so it doesn't mind being wet.
And other rocks are afraid of being wet because they're not wet.
And sentient.
And sentient. So like rocks and streams and rivers also unafraid or afraid based upon these metrics?
They are intermittently afraid and not afraid, depending on the water levels.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in times of drought, terrified.
Yes.
The logic of this escapes me and I don't like it.
Fair. I feel like I was perfectly clear.
A Kevin Costner in the middle of the sea fears no smoker.
I would think he would be looking forward to rain, so he didn't even have maybe it doesn't rain. Does not rain in Waterworld?
I don't know. I don't know if it rains in Waterworld.
Would rain, because
I don't know if weather happens anymore.
Didn't seem to.
Bye, Megan.
Bye, Amber.